Hey guys, June here, and today I'm gonna be talking about a strange topic. Well, actually, it's not that strange. It's Nioh or whatever. Yeah, the game that everyone calls a Bloodborne Dark Souls clone. I know I haven't been uploading a little bit. I'm trying to have a schedule. I'm still in school, so yeah, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, how much of an influence did Dark Souls have on Nioh? Who knows? All they said was that it had a gigantic impact, but what is considered as a gigantic impact, and how is that different from copying and stuff like that? Well, an article from Waypoint, which I'm gonna have a link on the description, ignited the conversation again, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. So let's think about the genre itself. Dark Souls did not, or Demon Souls. Let's just go to Demon Souls because that was the game that made the action adventure genre popular. The differences between that game and other action adventure type games is that game is somewhat Demon Souls. Let's just talk about Demon Souls. That game is basically like a super difficult RPG, and it didn't let's just say if it was a simplistic RPG with action and adventure, it would not get any. Well, it would get attention, but it wouldn't have gotten its reputation. But then when you look at the difficulty was the thing that grabbed many players' attentions. And in Japan, I'm guessing this game is extremely popular. Obviously, it's not as popular as games like Pokemon or anything like that, but it is popular in the sense that it could be up there with Monster Hunter, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that obviously grabbed other games' attentions, like the developers of Lords of the Fallen and Surge, and then you get to look at Nioh, or I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, guys, alright? But please don't roast me. But anyway, that's not the issue though. Nioh, I feel like that game went through a lot. If you actually look back, like, the game went through a lot of development time, even longer than possibly Final Fantasy 15. At least that's what I guess from a Eurogamer article that I read. But obviously, they went with a Souls-like type of thing. Like, they went with the Souls-like design and the mechanics of the game because they feel that it was like an evolution from Ninja Gaiden and what their game would have been. And I have to say, this game is different enough to be not considered as a clone, but it truly is kind of saddens me to see that any game that makes it look like that would be considered as a clone, like the mechanics and stuff, the difficulty. But Nioh's they make it different enough, like the storytelling, for instance. They have a lot more cutscenes in this game compared to a game like Bloodborne or Demon Souls. But then in the cutscenes for Nioh, it's a lot more of a straightforward story, which I personally like. But then when you look at the cutscenes and the level designs for Demon Souls and Bloodborne, the story is laid out in the levels and in the cutscenes a bit. Like, they keep it very vague so that you would read through the items and and you would look at the descriptions and you would basically analyze the dialogue of, like, let's say Bloodborne. You don't really have to do that for Nioh or Surge or Lords of the Fallen, which that itself makes it different. But the gameplay wise, they make it different enough where, let's say you have the 3 stances in Nioh. Compared to Bloodborne and Dark Souls, they only have one style. But of course, they had to. This is my guess as to why they had to have different styles. It's because of the weapons. They have a Diablo type loot crate system, not loot crate, but like a randomized weapon system where they would have a specific types of weapons and then they would generate different statistics of weapons. That kind of makes sense, right? Sorry if this is like a bit confusing. But it's just that they had to have that so that they could differentiate themselves. Like Surge, for instance. That game looks vastly different, like in the current builds, that in the recent builds that you will see compared to the earlier builds. The earlier builds were a lot like Lords of the Fallen, and Lords of the Fallen were a lot like Demon Souls and Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So at the end of the day, did they really copy, like, okay, did FromSoftware create a new genre? I want to say no, but let's look at the cultural change in gaming. They did change up how gaming works. They made gaming difficult again, and people latched onto that, and they're highly inspired by it, and they want to make more, not open world. Like Nioh is not open world, it's mission based, and that's what makes it so different. Like the Nioh or the Dark Souls really invent a new genre, yes, but there's not a proper label for it. Like there's only a mixed match of like different labels, like RPG, open world, action adventure, stuff like that. So in a way they did make a new genre, but then when you look at games in the past where you would start saying like, oh, that game is a clone of that game, like I don't know. Like yes, they did invent a new genre, and I feel like more developers should make games that are like Demon Souls and Dark Souls and stuff like that. But it's just that it needs to be different enough to be considered as a game of its own identity. But unless they really want to go as far as like copying Demon Souls or something, then as a creator, that's really considered as lazy. But I don't see Nioh as lazy. I don't see Surge or Lords of the Fallen as lazy. Like those games, yes, they have the same, almost the same mechanics, but they are different enough to be considered as their own IP, which is great for gamers like us. So yeah, that's what I thought, and obviously I'm human, I'm wrong, these are just my opinions, this is an opinion piece. I'm going to go back to more of reviews types of videos in the next coming days, so yeah, please stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe if you have anything you want to do, I guess, please. Yeah, thank you for watching, and have a lovely day. See ya.